Better than a hippopotamus.
Yeah, no kidding. Because you get one of those. It's an ugly day. All right. So here's the deal. We want to thank Comcast for their technological excellence in interrupting our. I'm going there.
I hear you.
This has happened before. These weasels, make it work, for God's sake. And they charge us enough money for it. I'm a little mad, you know what I mean? Because, anyway.
I understand. That's why I have AT&T and Comcast. No, I have Xfinity and AT&T. Because when one goes down, I go to the other.
Exactly. Well, we have a similar deal here, but it's whatever. All right. So here's the deal. We were interrupted, and it's too bad because the show wasn't sucking. We were really actually having a good time there.
I remember what I was answering was, if you need a surge protector on special devices in your home, this happened to be in the attic. I think it's a specialty device. I don't think it's something that would be normal that you go to the store and get, or you just go to electrical supply. And I would call a good electrician. I would call Right Touch Electrical, talk to them before they even come out, and say, hey, are you guys experienced with these new high-end surge protectors that go on, say, speakers in the ceiling, I do believe it was, or some other devices that you can't just plug in and then plug the device in. And so I think a good electrician like Will over there will probably guide you in the right direction, because I can't keep up with the technology today. I don't know if anybody can, unless you're just doing that one thing out of the whole picture all the time.
Well, I remember I talked to Will about this one time about surge suppressors, and we were doing a video feature about one. And he said that what you want to do is use a layered approach, and that you have one on the house, and then you have one at the device, so that one supports one helps the other one. Because he said that most of the times, most surges that your system is going to encounter originate inside the house.
I know. Yes.
So anyway, so there you go.
And that's why I say closer to the device is probably your most protective measure you can take. Because if you got a lot of wire in between it and that, something can happen within the whole house. I got to quit moving my hands around like this. And it happened throughout the whole house. And so you want to protect each device has always been kind of the rule when they're expensive electronics.
Exactly right. Hey, thank you. We got a bunch of y'all have come back and found us. I can see. Thank you for hanging with us. And if you sent a question in earlier, it's gone with the wind. So go ahead and put your questions back in the comment section below, because once we interrupt a feed, we lose the questions. And we want to thank the Xfinity geniuses for cutting us off there and getting us back on.
Yeah.
Hell hath no fury like an angry producer.
It made my wire go all crazy. Oh my God.
We got to get a surge suppressor on you, boy. All right, here's another.
I got to find new headphones.
I got a question for you. Well, Santa may bring you something. You never know.
Okay.
Or he could just bring you coal.
I got a chimney. I got coal. I don't need any more. I've had plenty of that all my life.
Next question, Tom, comes to us from Carl in Sharpstown. He says, I have some very ugly oil stains in my garage. I hate to admit it, but they've been there a long time, and I've repaired my car, so no more leaks. But my wife now says, clean the garage and get them off the floor. How do I clean old and some new oil stains from the garage floor? I've been searching on the computer. I'm really confused. Maybe you can help me out.
The tried and true method I don't think you'd find on the internet that I've always used. It doesn't get it all out, and you might want to talk to a professional if it's causing a friction in your home that has different chemicals and different machines like Sunny Power Washing.
Not the friction he's having. Not the friction he's having with his wife. Right. That's not that friction.
I don't want that friction. I don't want that. But here's how I can say that, and then I'm going to tell you how I take my oil stains out. Is Sunny Power Washing came out to my house about a month ago. They cleaned up everything, but on my driveway, I had these rust stains that wouldn't go away. Me, I don't care so much. Someone else in the house really wanted to see if we could get them out. He came back twice with different products that he has samples of or he has access to. And he eventually got them out. I wasn't even in town. When I came back, they were gone. So everybody's happy. I'm good with it. So sometimes a professional to get those really long standing stains that nobody ever cared about till at certain moments, you might want to call him. But what I do with oil stains, because I work on cars and things too, is You take mineral spirits and put it on the oil stain, kind of saturate it. Be careful, don't smoke. This is flammable liquid. Then you take kitty litter, just the clay, and you put it on top and you grind it down with a trowel or with a brick or something. Grind it to powdery substance on top and just sweep it around and let it sit there for about 24 hours. Then sweep it up. You might have to do it a second time to get anything you can extracted from the concrete. Then at that point, what you would use is a laundry detergent. The biggest mistake people make is they use an acid thinking that's going to clean it. All that does is etch the concrete. You want to use something that will help clean it. And Tide, I use that as an example because everybody knows the name. They did a great marketing They had a great marketing gig for over 100 years. So it works. It's a laundry detergent. But anything you have in the home, really put it down, use a scrub brush and water, wash it real well, and then a pressure wash of the garage floor. That's about how you're going to get it out without calling a professional.
And Sonny, I'm sure Matt and his guys over at Sonny can get anything up off your garage.
Hey, they were determined to get that rust stain out. And it wasn't that big. It was probably like that big, It's like the size of a big laptop. It was this big. No, it wasn't that big.
You could see it from space.
I know it was from, but I didn't admit to it. But I was washing my battery terminals out in the driveway, and it went down on the concrete because it hit some metal in my old Bronco, and it rusted down there.
Hey, here's a related question.
Don't tell anybody I said that. Yes.
Related question comes from Renetta in Flint, Michigan. She says, my son-in-law set down the mail and some cups of coffee on the ledge of their jacuzzi. Of course, it's stained. I tried everything, and nothing works. It's kind of a yellow cream fade. Tom, do you have any suggestions for her?
I want to know. I'm not sure where is it on, if it's on the hot tub itself, on the hot tub. And it got into the fiberglass, then I would tell you use polishing compound. You use it on car finishes to take just the surface off but not mar the finish. And it works wonderful on cultured marble, fiberglass, things like that. It even works on vinyl sometimes. If you have old vinyl white car seats and stuff, you can really make it pop with that. The other thing is a little Fantastic and 4-0 steel wool. That tends to get really hard stains out of products like that out without hurting the surface. So I would try one of those two things.
And then after you're done with that compound on the fiberglass, will you have to put anything kind of clear on top of that or something when you're done, or just kind
you really don't? No, I'd tell you why, Charlie, because it's a hot tub and you have the chemicals in the water. And you could put like a gel coat on there or something to make it look good, or a car wax. But as soon as you get a little bit of that water on there, it's going to go away. That's why I say a polishing compound or 4-0 steel wool lightly with a Fantastic, and it won't hurt the finish. The finish will still blend. You're not scrubbing it to take the finish off by any means. Oops, I hit my microphone. So you're not doing it for that reason.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Hey, if you're watching and you've come back and found us back on again, appreciate your intrepid following of our broadcast. You can go ahead and...
It is Tom Tynan Day.
It is Tom. You want me to play that again? I mean, maybe we can play that. Okay.
No, not at all. No, but it was very kind of you.
Chris put a lot of work into it. Well, Chris put a lot of work into it. It's this little thing he did to celebrate Tom Tynan Day, which was...
I know, but why couldn't you get a woman's voice on the woman instead of Chris's voice? Like she just swallowed a frog.
That was the idea. He wanted to make sure you know
that was be very obvious, huh?
Yes, we wanted to... Tom, he was being
It was
subtle.
Obvious.
He was being Mojo Media subtle.
Got it.
But seriously, today is Tom Tynan Day. Back in
not official. That was in 2016.
Right, 4 years ago.
Can you imagine? It was 4 years ago.
I know.
But I extended it this year because I have the opportunity because of COVID to do that, because it was such a crappy year for most people. So I extended it as the day to do whatever everybody wants to do. So that's just official.
That's here in Texas. It's that way. But if you live in Seattle, you can do that any day you want. You can do whatever you want anywhere you want.
I'm not going there. We've already been there. It's sad.
Well, you always say that. You won't go anywhere. Engage, buddy. Engage. All right.
No. It's sad.
All right, next question. Actually, I have an answer for the next question, but let's hear what you have to say.
I'm out of here.
All right, here we go. Hang on. Tom's taking a break mid-show.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, seriously, here's the next question. Comes from Sammy in Brazoria. It says it's time to shop my electric providers. Any suggestions?
Yeah, I just had to do it for a different city in Texas, but you shop all over now. Not everywhere. Some places you can't shop. It's still co-ops or it's still a monopoly, so to speak. But in the Houston area, or you can check this if it's in Texas, go to powertochoose.org.
It's funny.
I don't want you to go to the others because it'll,
It's funny you should say that, because we have a video that I went down into the catacombs and got this. This is an old video. Give you an idea how old this is. The woman you're going to see in this video, who's the chairman of the Public Utility Commission, she's not anymore.
Yes.
But
yeah, that's a voted in.
Yeah, every actually I think it's appointed by the governor. But anyway, the everything else in the video is spot on. So this will explain to you exactly how to use powertochoose.org.
As electric prices rise, so does the need to find the best rate. Shopping for that rate can be the hard part, unless you know where to look. The Public Utility Commission's free powertochoose.org site was recently redesigned to simplify shopping for that best rate.
It's very straightforward. So the first thing you do, the first screen that pops up asks you for your zip code. And then you have two choices. One, you can enter certain parameters and it can automatically narrow your choices, or you can just go to the website and there's a column on the left-hand side that will allow you to set your parameters. If what you're looking for is the lowest price with a fixed rate plan of say 12 months, then if you put fixed rate plan 12 months as your parameter, how many ever stars you want as a company, then it will pull up the plans and they go from lowest priced to highest priced.
Once you find the right rate, Chairman Nelson says the site makes switching even easier.
The Power to Choose website will link you to the provider that you choose, their website. At that point, you can either sign up with them on the website or you can call them on the phone and sign up. It's that easy. They take care of everything. You don't even need to contact your previous provider.
Not only do you have a choice of providers, but recently a choice of shopping sites. But there are some important differences between these new sites and powertochoose.org.
Some other third-party providers have started running Power to Choose-esque sites. On those sites, the companies, the retailers have to pay to be on the site. So generally, they don't have very full participation. To be on the Power to Choose site run by the Texas PUC, they pay no charge. They have to agree to be bound by our rules, and they actually have to upload their data. But the retailers really want to be on our site. So we have much closer to 100% participation of all the retailers in the market.
The reason I personally trust powertochoose.org, because it's impartial and regulated by the state.
We do certify companies before they can start providing service. And if there's a retailer out there that's a bad actor, we bring enforcement actions against them. I think people look to us to make sure that the companies that enter the market are reputable companies.
The new powertochoose.org provides a more user-friendly shopping and switching experience. So get out your bill, compare rates, and choose a provider who best fits your needs. That's what I did. For HomeShowRadio.com, I'm Tom Tynan.
2013. You see that?
Wow, it was the old shirt. I know that.
I know it's the old shirt. It's the old logo.
I think Chad still wears that shirt.
Yeah, I think he does. We changed the logo and everything. But the fact is, everything she says is still spot on, and it still works that way. And what's funny is they did recently redesign it again. So we keep.
I haven't been on it if
it's
been that
again.
recent.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
yeah, but usually you have to put in your zip code. It's going to get you where you need to go.
Right.
So you'll be all right.
But it's still good information. I got a bunch of questions that have come in here. Actually, a couple suggestions here for Tom Tynan Day, Tom, since we're celebrating your day.
Yes. Okay, fine. Donut Day. What? The day
Jack
before
says
was pasta
some
day.
people say that on Tom Tynan Day, little kids go around telling homeowners what improvements they can make on their homes.
All right. I like it.
All right. And
yes, then they egg their house.
And Robert says it's today's perfect weather for Tom Tynan Day. So,
oh, that's Robert Glazer. You know who he is.
I know who Robert is. That's exactly
right. I know who he is, too. Robert, go find something to do. We love you. Stay occupied. Get something to do at
do.
home, don't you?
And we appreciate him being around on the show. Hey, listen, I've got one here that came in from somebody. Your username on YouTube is Bottled Z28. I assume it's a he or she. But it says, I live in Massachusetts, built a... And that's all it says. So... send your questions.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, yay.
Built
Merry
well,
Christmas.
Congratulations. Right. Hey, so Jack did have a legitimate question, okay? He says he wants to drop network cables in his house instead of Wi-Fi. But it's hot in the attic and he's scared of a misstep. A foot will go through the ceiling. He's thinking about laying plywood down. But is there a more cost-effective option than putting plywood throughout the attic? And is that going to cause any environmental changes in his house?
You can put plywood down if you want, but remember this, getting plywood up there, you're going to have to cut it in small pieces anyway, unless you take down the side of the house to get a 4x8 sheet in because it's not going through the drop stair. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's what you need to do. But first off, it's not hot right now, so go ahead and do it. It's kind of cold outside, so it's cold in your attic. I'll tell you that right now. It's not always hot up there, although it's a lot of times it is. What I like to do is take some 2x12s and cut them about 30 inches long. Get 3 pieces and take them with you. You can stay on 2 and move one ahead as you go and put them across the top of the joists. And then just kind of walk your way down until you get to where you need to be. And with 2, you can get down on your knees. Your knees go on one and your ankles go on the other. And you can sit and do your work and then go ahead and just transfer those 3 back. I've done that for years and it works well. And the 2x12s are long enough. And 30 inches, you can carry one at a time. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're running cables in your attic like that, Tom, is there any benefit to maybe putting some hooks and running them along the roof, the rafters, as opposed to the joists? Or
I don't know if there's benefits to it, but I think neatness and organization always counts. Mm-hmm. I get very upset when they come and they just run cables all through my attic and you don't know what is what, and they've got pieces laying down. They don't take a plastic bag, throw their trash in when they snip and cut and do the stuff. I get really irritated. I've had people go in my attic, some workers, and say, my goodness, it's cleaner than my own bedroom. I want it organized. So yeah, could you, that way you troubleshoot it, that way you can splice onto it, add more devices down the road, what's what. I think the more organized you are with anything you do in life, and I'm a guy that carries a label maker in my back pocket, not a phone. I'm ready to go with it. I like it.
Yes.
So don't call me.
He tosses and turns in bed at night wondering whether or not to hyphenate anal retentive. So,
but I have to know what side of bed I'm on, so I label Tom's side. Then I put little yellow arrows not to pass.
I've got great news for you.
Yes.
By the way,
what?
Robert said that the power to choose is a perfect example of how regulation can be good.
Well, he's a Democrat. Just so you know. But he's right. And Robert's a fine man who cares about the community. And he was on the... He's not anymore, I don't think. The Houston Community College School Board.
Yeah, he was a trustee about the same time Sandy was, my wife.
And he was there when I was there, and he was always back in my program whenever he could, but they pretty much didn't want to do anything.
Moving along, our next question. Yes. Next question. Hey, by the way, Bottled Z28 came back and says, I built a 12 by 20 gambrel shed with no soffit vents and no ridge vents. The walls are insulated. Will rigid foam work in the roof? She says, by the way, he says, I'm using it as a pub shed year round and we'll put mini split there in the springtime, and adds that the roof is made with 2x4s. So what say you? Yeah,
if it's a dog shed and you want to put some fiberglass or you want to use some foam like you said, just make sure that you don't pack it up super tight, and you have to air condition it and heat it, because those you can insulate till you're blue in the face. And if it's a pug shed, if I remember correct, they don't give off a lot. They don't give off a lot of heat. They're not big animals.
No. He didn't say pug. He said pub.
He said, a pub shed?
Pub shed. I'm trying to figure what that is exactly. So
if it's for beer, cold is good.
Get a glass of grog here. One of those kind of things. I don't know.
My son has a pug, so I thought it was a pug dog. But anyway, if you're going to insulate, You got to air condition, you got to heat.
Right.
Well, it's not going to change the temperature. It's just going to hold the heat in or keep the heat out because heat is energy. So, yeah, with a little shed like that, I have no problem. What you're going to do in there, quite frankly, is your business.
Oh, I thought you were winding up some more, so I went to you. Okay.
I saw that.
Done.
No, pretty much. You can do whatever you want. It's your property. Just be nice to everybody.
Tom Tynan Day.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
Do what you want. Comcast decided they don't want to keep feeding our signal. Yeah, I'm just not going to let go of that today. I'm not.
You are? Okay.
I'm one of those guys.
Well, can't wait till Sunday.
Oh, wait a second. Jack's helping us out here. Hang on. He just wrote in and he says, Pub Shed's the outdoor tiki bar of the North.
Got it. I like it.
Okay.
Well, no pubs, but pubs is good. So, yeah, you're going to want heat and cold. So insulate it, heat it, cool it, and drink as much as possible.
Jack's pretty fast.
Because you don't have to drive home. You just walk across the yard. Or quite frankly, like my grandfather said, if you fall down, just stay there till the morning. Nobody needs to get you up.
Well, maybe next time I'm on vacation, we get Jack to come sit in for me because he's pretty quick. He can keep up with you. So, all right.
Okay, fine.
Almost better than me. Hey, listen, the CJ says he lives in the Austin area and is in need of a new roof. What underlayment are roofers using these days? Is there one that you recommend in particular, Tom?
No, there's not, but it's a great question because in the old days, we would have gone over the different felts and how they're made and some of the new fiberglass products coming out. But today, when you hire a roofer, you're going to hire a GAF Master Elite roofing contractor. You're going to hire an Owens Corning Elite contractor. They're going to have different names, but they're going to be associated with a roofer and a roofing manufacturer because you get the warranty from both today. It's really been improved quite a bit over the last 15, 20 years. So whatever shingle you buy, actually, whatever roofer you hire, hopefully will be associated with a roofing manufacturer. And if they're not, I probably would not hire them to put my roof on. I want someone who's a professional in the business. Doesn't cost more money. You just get a better job. Everybody's competitive in pricing if they're in the business to stay. The other thing is the manufacturer, they recommend what underlayment, what detailing, what type of metal flashing, and so on, what kind of roof venting for that matter. Most of them have their own ridge vent, soffit vent systems, or at least a ridge vent, and all that goes together to give you a really long, strong warranty. And if you break away from that, you're going to lose the effectiveness of that warranty and the coverage that you really want to have today, and you deserve to have today. So get with your roofer. Make sure they're associated with a manufacturer and follow the manufacturing specifications. You'll be fine.
Fair enough. All right. Let's get another one here. Janet in Spring says that I had a terrible experience with a remodeler. They left my bathroom in shambles, and now I need a company who can renovate my bathroom. I have the vanity, the fixtures, the flooring, but that's all. I need somebody who will work with what we have and undo the fiasco. We've seen this before, and I don't think it's good news for her, is it?
No, it's not. And if you get somebody really good, and I'm going to tell you who that I would call here in a second, they're not going to want to work with what was done. They're going to want to take it out because they have to warranty it. They want to make sure that people come see their work. They're proud of their work, and they want to make sure it's done from the stuff you don't see to the finishes you do see, that everything is done well. Trifection, probably the best remodeler in Houston. I've used them personally quite a bit. I know Charlie has too, and he can give you his 2 cents. But the fact of the matter is 281 Kitchen, call them and see if they'll fit into doing this, because they're going to want to come and look at the damage that was done, because it's going to cost you now to get the damage out before you go back with the finished product, which is, typical. If you try to get someone to come in and fix what is there and try to work with what they have, unless they really feel comfortable doing it, you probably won't find anybody except someone who's going to want another down payment, tell you they're going to have to charge you a lot extra to try to work with it, go through this whole warranty issue that we're not going to back our work. And it's not something that I would recommend you go through. But I think that's what you're going to find out there. Or if you say somebody says, yeah, just give me what you want and I'll finish the project, then you probably don't want to deal with that because you're heading down the same road you just got off of.
That's a tough thing. When you change out in the middle of a job, nobody wants to come back.
Well, let's take it to a bigger scale.
Nobody wants to take it off. I mean, it's
That's
even
right.
like with foundation repair. You know, if you have one guy does it, when you pick a foundation repair company, you're picking a relationship for life.
Well, let's take it a step further, Charlie. I mean, a big step. What if you're building a home that is $1 million? You hire a custom builder. He gets through about 25% of the house, and he's taking about 40% of the money, and you want to fire him. If you fire him, that means you have to find someone to finish. They're not going to guarantee anything. They're not going to want to touch this project. So you're sitting there as a homeowner, and you're really lost, and you don't know what to do. So you either have to find someone who will agree to finish it at a super high price and not warranty anything, or you're going to have somebody come in and literally want to just tear the whole thing out and start from scratch. And either way, you're out a ton of money. That happens all the time because there's no regulation in the state of Texas. Yeah.
So the idea of her using those things that she has left over from the project, maybe not so much. I mean, I
don't know.
Trifection's
if she bought
use
fixtures, if she bought
Yeah.
sinks,
She has
you can
cabinets
use
and
that.
fixtures and things, of that
Toilets,
nature.
but if the tile work is all messed up, you got to tear it out. If the cabinets aren't very good, they're not going to want to work and put crummy cabinets in and then a beautiful countertop on it. I wouldn't want it because I would want my name on it. If the shower is halfway done, you don't know if it leaks or not. So what if it leaks in a year and a half? You say, hey, all I did was finish the tile. I can't help you. They're not going to want to do that. A company is going to want to be able to stand behind what they do.
Exactly. All right, cool. Groovy enough. Okay, we got one more question for you before we head up. We go up to South Bend, where
Cool.
This
is an international show
It
today.
is. We are getting around. We're getting a lot of questions on time. And by the way, if you still want to get a question in with us, you can go ahead and put your question in the comments section. And if you're legit, we'll put it up and we'll answer it for you. But
if you're legit.
Trust me. All right.
Nothing's legit today.
Anthony,
Go ahead.
Anthony in South Bend says, thank you for being the only person in 5 years I've owned this place to give a straight answer on the pointlessness of re-insulating. I have cement block walls. If I want to up my insulation, should I go with a better house wrap when residing or try adding framing inside and insulate, thereby losing some floor space? What would your advice be, Tom?
Okay, well, I've got to make some preconditions here. First off, it's Indiana. So I'm going to assume I've never lived in Indiana. I've lived all over the country, but not there. Not everywhere, by the way. But Indiana's, you're primarily worried more about cold than you are hot. Now, concrete block buildings I've owned and I've built. In fact, I'm looking at some now as a second home down on a place called South Padre Island. And when I lived in Florida, that's what Florida we built. Now, in Florida, to tell you an example that you're not going to do, we would put the concrete blocks up and then we would cover the outside with furring strips and then foam. And then you would end up doing a stucco on top of that, and it looked like a stucco home. The reason is you wanted to keep the heat off the building, so when you cooled it, it would stay cool in there, and the concrete block would not heat at night and feel it radiating into the house. So you would insulate the block. That's all you could do. Now, up north, you would do it opposite. You would put furring strips, which you do anyway to do the sheetrock work, but in between the furring strips, you use foam. And that way, the heat in the wintertime will stay in that space and not want to get into the block, which will absorb the heat and then easily radiate it to the outside. And that's what happens with concrete blocks. So inside, you get nice, even insulation for a heating season. If you're watching this and we're talking about the outside, it's opposite. You do it on the outside before you put your stucco on the inside before you put your sheetrock on. The thickness is dependent on you. You can use 2x4s, you can do it thicker. You can make a real thick insulated wall or a thin one with just 3/4 inch furring strips, which is most common, which is 3/4 inch foam. So that's how you would go ahead and approach your project. And if you were worried about both, which maybe in Indiana you are, I don't know. I'll let you decide that. You could do both sides. But let me say this.
Yes.
The wrap is not going to help insulate the block. All that does is keep moisture, wind-driven rain behind siding, behind stucco, whatever the case may be, brick, stone, keep it from getting into the block, which will want to migrate in. It won't be near as a problem as it is with wood frame construction.
Even
but that's all it's going to do.
Even the
Yeah,
insulated
it's not
one.
an R value. All it is
Okay.
it's an infiltration barrier and a moisture barrier. So that's all it is. And if you're worried about interior, frozen climates with interior areas, you end up putting plastic on the inside. They call it a vapor barrier, which is not an insulation wrap. Don't get the two confused. A vapor barrier is plastic, and it's put only on the inside, never on the outside, because in super freezing climates, the moisture wants to go with the hot air out through the wall cavity, and it'll find a point in that cavity where it'll freeze. So by holding what moisture you have in the house, it won't get in the wall cavity. You won't have that freeze point because that destroys the structure.
Okay.
That
Fair
was
enough.
a mouthful.
It
We
was.
covered the whole world. And if you moved to Tahiti, a nice lady with a fan or maybe a man, depending what you like.
palm frond.
Yeah,
Sandal
you
with
could
a
get a
palm
nice
frond,
yes.
And a
It
skippy
works.
bikini. Yep. You won't find
It
that
depends
this time
who's
of year.
doing the
Yeah.
fan.
You're not going to find that this time of year in South Bend, Indiana. You find a bunch of fighting
No, I would
Irish,
assume it's cold.
but you won't
Yeah,
find.
they're-
The fi-
Hey,
the
nothing
fighting
wrong
Irish
with
right
that.
there.
I'm an
That's it, baby.
Otinen. I'm good with that.
All right. All right. So that's we've reached the end of our questions and the end of our time. We ran wicked long because
Because of who, Charlie?
a company that will go unnamed Comcast because they cut us off halfway into the show, so we had to wait till they got their ones and O's dancing in order to get back on, and we're glad we did. And we thank you for being here. If you want to get a question on us into us, you can either listen to Tom this weekend. He'll tell you about that in a second, or you can go to our website, go to the Ask Tom, click it right there on the homepage, open it up, and you can send us a question either with our form or by sending us a video. Either way, we'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for our Home Show pros, if you're in the Houston metropolitan area and you're looking for somebody to take care of you, you can find all our Home Show pros right there on our homepage. Just scroll down here in a second. There you go. And there they all are down at the bottom. They're ready to help you out and take good care of you. So that's the deal. And of course,
Charlie?
Yeah, sure.
Charlie, what you need to do, and keep it on your little machine there with your buttons, is one of those scrolls like the news do at the bottom.
I can
And
do
says,
that.
Charlie says, Comcast can, and then you fill in the blank. It just keeps going back and back and back. Comcast
Right.
can,
I'm getting
you fill
over
it in.
I'm getting over it.
Okay,
No, I
fine.
just don't like when things go funky. Go funky monkey on us. So, all right. But anyway, we'll be back next week. It's not like they don't charge us premium for the bandwidth we own here. So
Okay, here we go. He was almost
So-
over it.
almost. It's like the worst thing you can say when your wife gets mad about something. Are you done? Because no, she won't be.
I just
All
go
right.
in the garage.
and caress your Mustang.
I like my pub shed. I
He's
like
gonna
that.
Go out and caress his Mustang, if you know what I mean. All right. So you want to
Yes.
talk about the weekend here?
Yeah, I'll be on there on the weekend. Saturday from 9 to noon. Sunday from 7 to 9. And Saturday afternoon, I'm only going to plug it a couple more times. I'm doing a toy drive at the 5 and Below store right across from Willowbrook Mall on Tomball Parkway. All right, I'll be standing out front, probably in the frozen rain. I've been told I can only bring one canteen. I'm with the Texas State Guard. This is our toy drive, and you want to come by and say hello to me. And if you don't want to get out of the car, you can toss the toy. I'll either catch it and put it in the box, or I'll hold the box and you can get it in there. Those kids deserve a little bit of your time. There, I'm done.
By the way, somebody named Sandra Jin says, "Happy Tom Tynan Day."
Oh, thank you, Sandra Jin,
I don't know who she is.
who told me to shut up today if you want to know the truth.
I'm shocked. All right.
That's my wife for everybody watching.
And by the way, just in case and Tom didn't mention that before he comes on Saturday, of course, we have Danny Milliken and all
Danny.
the Garden Pros. They're on from 7 to 9 every Saturday on Sports Radio 610. That's here in the Houston area. You can actually catch it streaming too. On both our homepages, there's a little green Listen Now button. And if you don't catch a show live, we immediately repeat it. And you can hear it anytime you want. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can listen to the show. The show often wakes me up in the middle of the night. So.
I hope you sleep though. Yeah, so, only thoughts of it, Charlie. Just thoughts.
Exactly. All right. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today, guys. We'll be back again next Thursday at 4. Good Lord and Comcast willing, we'll see you then.
Got a question? Ask Tom on Home Show Radio. Home Show Radio. Free advice from a pro who knows. Home Show